We are here with Drawn to the Sky. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for that incredible set. I'm just almost just seeing this ocean of between the electronic elements, the guitar playing, your voice, and everything just blending together. How, I'm going to ask how long. What was the process of creating such a cohesive sound for both what you're doing online, but as well as being able to carry that over to live?
So I started out mainly just listening to like a lot of metal music as a kid. And I played guitar when I was 11 years old when I started playing guitar. And I always wanted to be in a band, but I'm from a really small town. We got a couple thousand people. And I just could never find anyone to be in a band with. So I was like, well, I guess I could just do stuff by myself in the meantime. So yeah, I just like picked up an acoustic guitar and just started writing songs and, playing shows everywhere. But eventually I just kind of I missed the high energy of like all the metal music I used to listen to. And I used to listen to hip hop too. So I was like, what if I blended like this, I was doing like this emo punk acoustic thing. I was like, what if I like blended this with like hip hop beats? This is back in like 2017. And no one was really doing that back then. And I was like, that would be really cool. So I started making it. I started production, learning in college. And yeah, I started combining the sounds that I, started off with, with my acoustic emo music, put in some like metal elements and yeah, some like 80s guitar solos. My dad listened to a lot of 80s music growing up, so I was exposed to that and just tried to blend it all together. And I don't know what you call it really. It's just like electronic pop emo stuff. But yeah, it's fun. It's really fun to make. So
And with that fun to make, I was overhearing from Ali
Yep.
earlier about just the huge production on the back end from you both doing the directing of all the videos as well as the film, the social media piece. What does the back end of Drawn to the Sky look like, and how does that contribute to the art as well as kind of fight against it, if at all?
yeah. So I don't know if my friend Josh is still here, but Josh is he's a good friend of mine. He helps me with all my music videos. He's like, an absolute master of cinematography and stuff. And he really helps bring my visions to life. And I guess all of the back end is just me doing as much as I possibly can, if not literally everything. Like I said, Josh has been a great help. My girlfriend Allie, absolutely incredible with all the help she provides. And I really just do everything myself, from production, mixing, mastering, writing, the vocals, music videos, directing, marketing. Just started a film production company with my friend. And it's just a lot of chaos, but it's a lot of fun. I get to learn so many new skills because it takes so many different skills to market yourself as an artist, to be unique, to put out great music videos. If you pay someone to do that all the time, it's going to cost you, tens of thousands of dollars. So being able to make my own music videos is, absolutely incredible and necessary. And yeah, I just like really just learned to love it over the last few years. And that's why I started a film production company with my friend Braden Barry, who's also a recording artist, goes by the name Say We Can Fly. And yeah, we're working on our first feature film right now. So it's really just balancing the music, the business, marketing, making this film, doing all the music videos. So it's quite a bit, but yeah, I really enjoy it. So
Yeah. Yeah, with that, I'm trying to divide thoughts. So part of me wants to ask about the film part and how that comes into you as a person. I will instead ask, how do you not burn out having to do so much of the quote unquote boring, tech heavy, business heavy things on top of the creation part? How do you hold both of those sides, especially within completely different areas of you as a person, you as running a film production company, you as a music artist? How are you not passed out on the floor crying?
right. Well, you definitely do burn out. There's no way of avoiding burnout, I don't think. But I think it really comes down to listening to your body. Obviously, doing what I do for a living, you have a little bit more free time because you're able to do the things, all these creative things at a job. But sometimes it does get absolutely overwhelming, and you're like, how can I? Because there's a lot of people say you should never spread your energy too thin because instead of just mastering one thing, if you spread your energy to a bunch of different things, you're just gonna kind of half-ass a bunch of different stuff. But I think what it comes down to is just dedicating my day and schedule, just really organizing my day, like being super diligent about like how I time out each thing I'm going to do. Because once you enter that marketing mindset, you got to stay there for a few hours, and then once you're done, put that aside, take a little break, maybe meditate. Always taking care of your mental health is really important. So I like to meditate and do the cold showers and the weightlifting, all the things. But I think having a good like daily routine is the only way to keep yourself sane. Because I think otherwise you're just gonna collapse into chaos and just burn out and want to quit. But I think if you had some structure, listen to your body, and give yourself some time off if you need it. I think as a creative person, it's definitely necessary. So yeah, I guess it's just a accumulation of all those things.
Yeah, and with that, listening to the body, how much of a physical toll do you find performing, writing, or even just sitting still, putting on that business hat takes out of you?
Um, yeah, it takes quite a bit. I think, like I said, honestly, there's definitely days where it's just like I am absolutely. It's because being an artist, you're sometimes you're working harder than almost anyone or as hard as anyone and you're generally getting paid probably on the smaller end. So balancing all those things with the finances, but yet like spending all this time on marketing, business, songwriting, mixing, mastering, production, shows, film, music videos, all these things. You just definitely gotta just remind yourself constantly, like you're doing what you wanted to do when you were a little kid, like you're following your dreams, and it's not easy, but it's worth it in the end because it makes you feel fulfilled, even if you are burnt out. At least you feel like fulfilled with what you're doing, and I think it's just the most important thing is finding the meaning. So
Yeah. Impossible question off of that. Why does music fulfill you? What kind of drives you to pursue this and have this as so much of your life, not just externally, but what is sewing you together as an entity?
right. Yeah, that is an impossible question, but I would just say like honestly, just growing up, just knowing that when I was in school, I mentioned this in a podcast recently, but when I was in school, I thought there was a summer break. You had like this time off in the summer to just kind of reset. And my dad, he got time off in the winter. He worked construction. My mom got time off in the winter because she worked an outside job. And eventually, I realized like that's not that common. Most people work year round. It's like a constant thing. So I figured, if I'm going to be doing something year round, this is maybe when I was like 10 or whatever, 11. I'm like, wait, if I'm going to do something all the time, every single day, like I got to do something that, gives me a little bit of meaning and fulfillment. And I don't know, my dad and, always playing music in the car. I just got obsessed with music from a young age. And I don't know, it's just like the thing I kind of gravitated towards. And there's no way of knowing. Maybe it's like a genetic thing. It's like baked in right from the start, like some spiritual destiny thing. I have no clue, but yeah, music was a thing I just always wanted to do. And when I was with my dad in my car, and we were listening to music or going on road trips with the family, I'd always like, replace myself with the musicians. I was always like imagining them playing like a live show, whatever song was playing on the radio. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to be up on stage playing that. I don't know, who knows, but yeah, I just have a passion for music and film, and it's just a blessing to be able to do it. So.
Yeah. The question that is asked, I think, almost to every musician, the general question would be what's next. But as far as like narrowing the camera in, zooming into this moment, what does tomorrow look like for Dustin and for Drawn to the Sky, or if there even is a division for that?
Yeah, I just want to keep doing what I do, every single day. But, I definitely want to get to a point where I feel success is different for everybody. But I think once you start to feel a little more comfortable financially and everything, I think that's everyone's goal. Everyone wants to be healthy, happy, at peace, financially secure. I think in order to be any of those, you kind of need the other ones to be in balance as well. So yeah, I think just getting to that point where, it's like things are just a little bit more successful, whatever that means. Just keep pushing. I've been doing this for about 5 years, and yeah, I plan to continue to do it, and can't wait to keep making films, crazier music videos. Just like keep improving my craft every single day. I just think focusing on your craft is the most important thing, instead of focusing on numbers and how other people um, think of your art. You can't really do anything about that. You can only focus on yourself and improve yourself. So yeah, that's just my motivation every day. Just keep improving and yeah, enjoy life.
No, that's just absolutely brilliant. I was listening to podcast video essay yesterday about just, especially within the 2024 late aughts culture within hip hop, pop music, etc., where so much of the energy is how to find an audience, how to rank your numbers, and you can do well and you can cash out, but eventually oh wait, I haven't actually have a strong product, a strong craft, versus actually putting in that time, putting in that effort to actually have some foundation or whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of artists today are just chasing like that virality with short form content and everything. Like, have to, and it makes sense because you have to get people in front of your art, or else, it's hard to sustain yourself if you don't. And that's something I could improve upon too. So it's always just finding a nice balance. I think what I focus on is I try to take everything in seasons. There's a season for reaping and a season for sowing, and you're not always going to do the same thing in both seasons. You can't do it both at the same time. So I think in the summer, I just love to focus on my art, my music videos, my music. And then, in the winter, when things get a little colder in Minnesota, that's when I kind of focus more on like the marketing side. But yeah, I think a big lesson is to artists, don't just chase that viral hit, on TikTok or, Instagram Reels or whatever it is. Like, that's really important to do for sure, but you have to make sure that when somebody does discover your song, they don't want to discover your 3 singles out on Spotify. They want to have, you should have a foundation of 30 songs maybe. Maybe the best thing to do for an artist is to focus on creating a catalog of music, maybe like 10, 20, 30 songs to really improve their craft. Then once they feel like they're at the point where they're really, really, really proud of what they're putting out, then go after the audience, go after the marketing, the virality. Because then if you do hit that million views, whatever, on something, then you have an entire plethora of, songs for people to discover and art to consume and, become fans of your stuff. So yeah, I guess, but it's always a balance, So yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming out again. Have a safe drive back out of the cities, and good luck with the upcoming film.
Appreciate that. Thanks so much.